As it is me, SEC. Okay, so I am back here with another devotion, as you can probably tell by the title of the video. But I know y'all have been requesting this, and I personally really like doing these. So if you also like me to do them, then give it a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button down below if you haven't already. And also, if you want to know when I upload at the minute, then hit the little bell right beside it, and then you'll know when I upload it every single time. Also, just so I can know if y'all like the devotions or the music Mondays or what kind of videos y'all actually like, please take the poll. I think it's right here, but if it's not right here, then it's right here. And it's a little eye, okay? And yeah, without further ado, let's get on the video. Ooh. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about trusting the Lord. And I know this can be a really, really hard thing to do, especially since we're human and it's our natural ability to just not trust anyone and try and fend for ourselves. But it is absolutely crucial to trust in the Lord. And yeah. So what brought this along is ever since the beginning of the year, I have been going through a huge, I wouldn't say it's a storm. I don't know. I guess a storm. And what happened was I had a situation occur in my home church, and it just kind of, it just made me frustrated and let down by and I just didn't feel like going to church. It wasn't anything with the Lord. It was just the presence at the church. I just couldn't be there. And I had always loved going to church and going to Sunday school and going to Wednesday nights. I always loved doing that. But then this happened, and it just kind of made me burn out almost. And I was praying and I was reading my Bible and I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing. So I was like, God, what's up? Why is nothing changing in this situation? Why am I still so oppressed and depressed about this situation? What do I need to do to make this situation better? And Proverbs 3:5 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your understanding. And I had always heard that, and I was like, I'm doing that, God. I'm trusting in you. Why is nothing, I'm putting this in your hands. But here's the thing. When we fully rely on God and not on ourselves, we're not going to question why He has done something or why He has put this obstacle in our path. And I was like, I'm doing this. What's wrong? What am I doing wrong? And that's another thing. We can't question what we are personally doing. It might not be that we are doing something. It might be that God has put this in our path to challenge us and to test us to improve on something that we might need in the future for our calling. And I wasn't realizing that. I wasn't processing that this might be something good that I just don't realize yet. And that's what it was. And I wasn't putting that into play. And something that I had saw was a little cartoon during this time. And it was of Jesus and this little girl. And this little girl had this rugged old little teddy bear. It was tore up, everything. And then behind Jesus, he had a huge teddy bear that was about the size of her, if not bigger. And he was like, give me it. And she was like, no, it's my favorite. And he was like, but I'll give you one better. And that's the way this situation was going, because it had been a while since I had felt appreciated, and I was just kind of going through the motions almost. And I was like, I go here, I go on Sunday, I go on Sunday night, I go on Wednesday, I go to everything we have, and I was like, why am I not being appreciated? And then couple months passed. I was still like unhappy. I was just brought down. I was like, I have the Spirit of the living Lord in me. Why am I so like just depressed? And nothing could make me happy. And I was like, why? This is not the way I'm supposed to be. I'm a daughter of the living King. What am I doing wrong? And I kept putting me inside, like, what am I personally doing? And sometimes it's just not that. It's just we are being tested. And finally, I came through a breakthrough. But the thing was, I had, like, the opportunity God had put in my path was to move churches. And I was like, but God, this is my home church. These are where all my friends are. This is where all my memories are. Why would you do this to me? And I wasn't thinking that maybe this was what He wanted. Maybe this is what was in store for me. Maybe He has something greater for me, that I have to go to this to be able to get to the end goal. And I was not thinking about, I was only thinking about me. I wasn't thinking about everyone else around me. And that's what we can do sometimes, is just become so self-absorbed about our situation. What is it going to affect to me? What's it going to happen to me? Not what's going to happen to the people around me. What is this going to change my future? None of that was occurring to me. And I finally, after tons and tons and tons of prayer and questioning and everything, God was just finally, He was like, look, you're going to do this. And I was like, okay, God, I'll listen. I'm sorry, God. And it's been so much better because I feel like I've been appreciated, and it's just a completely different atmosphere. And for the first couple weeks, I was like, I'm not going to be happy at this church. I refuse to be happy. Like, I was being a little brat, I tell you. And finally, I was just like, this is what God has placed in my life. He has put this in my path for a reason. And I finally just gave it to God. And that's what we have to do, and just trust that He is doing this for a reason. And I finally did that, and I've just been relieved. And it's just like a whole burden is just lifted off my shoulders, because when we fully give it to God, there's no reason for us to feel weighed down or just sad anymore, because we don't have to deal with it anymore. He deals with it, and He gives us something better and just more fulfilling. Okay, so in Ecclesiastes 3:1-8, it says this: there's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. Now, I know I said that really fast, and it's kind of like a lot of repetitiveness. So if you want to look that up in Ecclesiastes 3:1-8, that's a really good passage. And it's saying there's a time for everything. And there's a time for you to be in the valley. And I had just not really thought about it that way. I felt like I was just drowning. And when you actually give it fully to God, then that's when you fully become just relieved. Whether you're still in that situation or not, you'll become more relieved whether things have changed or not, because you now don't have to worry with it, because you know God has got it. And I know sometimes it can be really hard for us to fully trust, even though we're commanded to by the Word. And in Isaiah 41:10, it says, so do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. And that just kind of gives me peace personally for being able to trust Him. And there's tons and tons and tons of verses that help with being able to trust the Lord and things that just kind of give me peace personally. And this was one of them. So if you want to just look up in your Bible or in the Bible app or whatever, just verses about trust and peace over that, there are so many that you cannot even believe. But it says, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. And so basically, there's no reason for us to worry whether we have to do something. It's not us having to do it. It's God doing it through us. Or it's God doing it for us. And so it's like, He's with us in our lives throughout everything. So why should we worry with something that's not even ours to worry with? And I'm telling y'all, like, I had so much peace once I finally gave it to Him. And I was like, God, this is not mine to deal with. This is yours. I give it all to you. And even if it is ours to deal with, He will deal with it for us because He is our loving Father. And that is what we have to do. We have to fully trust Him no matter what. And if there's an obstacle in your way, if you're going through a trial or tribulation right now, it is okay. God has got this, and you are not alone. And I just pray that y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day, and that you just fully rely on God no matter what, that y'all just fully trust Him to do what you were called to do, and that you give Him your trial right now. He has put this in your way for a reason, so it might feel like you are just never going to get it at the end of the tunnel, but you are, I promise. And I just hope that this somewhat helped y'all, encourage y'all to continue in y'all's walk of faith. And yeah, I guess I'll see y'all guys in the next video. Bye.